Hey guys, what is up? It is Bibs7 here again, and welcome to a new video talking about the Telos and AoD drop rates which were released today. In this one, I'm just going to be doing Dominion Tower Endurance mode. I'm currently going for Dreadnips for Telos, so yeah, I'm just going to be doing this in here. It's not really much interesting to watch, but sporting my brand spanking new Max Cape on here. Really happy that I'm moving into the PVM side of things. But since Telos drop rates are released today, I started doing these last night, and I would like to get nips for Telos because I think it's pretty important to have them for P5 for like high end rage. Like getting all those stuns off is really nice, just to prolong the time before you get virus, as well as give you longer to DPS before he does his insta kill. So I think it's probably worth getting them, and they're not too hard to get, honestly. I haven't really been here for all that long, and I'm currently at 203 bosses, and you need 450 for Dreadnips. So shouldn't be too much longer, honestly. I'm halfway there, but I haven't really grinded it much, and I should easily be able to get that within the next couple hours, and it's not too bad. So anyways, moving on to the actual subject of this video, which is the AoD and Telos drop rates. Pretty happy they win with these first, because these are probably the two most interesting, and then probably third on that is Rax, in terms of like how interesting the drop mechanics will end up being. And then after that, it's probably just going to be standard numbers, like 1 out of X instead of anything like that could possibly be interesting, as far as I know, unless there's some sort of other monster that has weird drops. I guess seeing the effect of rep at God Wars 2 will also be nice. So just really glad they started to do these, and I wanted to talk about the things that they've said, as well as what people think of it and stuff like that in this video. So first off, we'll do AoD, which is, in my opinion, less interesting and not as big of a revelation, because people had already estimated drop rates there, because it's not something that changes. The only thing that changes when you're killing it is if you're killing it with a team larger than 7, then the drop rates, we already knew that the drop rates got worse, but now we know exactly how worse, and how much worse rather, and how the drops are exactly affected by the size of your team. So these drop rates are confirmed as per drop. So next drops 7 drops per kill. So you would have to divide all of these by 7 to get the actual drop rates, basically. So I'll do that for you guys. So the chance with 7 people, these are the chances with 7 people, which is the standard team size, because doing it with any less, there's not really any point, and doing it with any more, your drop rates are known to be reduced. And I don't have an anti-fire for this, so I'm probably gonna not be able to kill Elvarg here. My fault. I forgot to get another super anti-fire, but oh well. Might actually be able to kill him still, because he's pretty weak. But anyways, the drop rate for the Imperium Core and Wand of the Praesel is 1 out of 1,000 per drop, meaning you get 7 drops per kill. 1,000 divided by 7 is 1 in 142 per kill to get the Wand of Praesel or Imperium Core. Now I'm assuming that is a 1 out of 1k drop to hit their table, and then it's a 50-50 on either one. That would be what I would assume, but it could be more weighted towards the orb or what. But just to get one of the two, it's 1 out of 42. So that's actually more common than I would have thought, although I've only done 10 kills there, so I don't really have much experience with the drops at all. And yeah, so it just seems more common than I would have expected in general for a boss of that size. And then the Praesel Codex is only 1 out of 250, so that ends up boiling down to, if you divide that by 7, you get whoops, I did typo on that. You get about 1 in 35. So the Praesel Codex is actually pretty freaking common, and you definitely can see that reflected in the drops of people who go there. It was already apparently estimated to be around 1 in 35 per kill, so that is confirmed here. Pretty cool. And then the Intricate Chest is 1 out of 5,000 per roll, so that ends up working out to be a 1 out of 700-ish drop chance. So that's pretty rare. luckily, to get the AoD title for the collection, you only need to get one chest and not all four, which is something I did not know until I read the comments of this Reddit post. But that is, yeah, that's definitely news to me, and it's good because otherwise it would be almost impossible to get the next AoD title. Like, it would be so much RNG and so much grinding, not only to get the drop, not only to get one of each alone, but more importantly to get it in your name would be insanely hard, and like would just take tons of kills and obviously duplicates. Sorry, getting a Skype call here. Let me just tell him. Anyways, yeah. That was the drops for 7 groups of 7 people killing the boss. So that is pretty interesting. But then even more interesting, honestly, is the chances for 8 or more people. The Imperium Core and Wand of the Praesel increased to 1 out of 5,000, which is the same as a intricate chest is on the normal loot table. So about 1 in 714-ish. Per kill to get. And then the weird thing is the Praesel Codex actually does not change in rarity. It is still 1 out of 250. So that is definitely interesting, although it does not actually make a difference in terms of the GP per hour. As far as I've been able to tell in the comments, people would say that doing it with more people ends up not even being better because the kills aren't that much faster. And yeah, just in the end, it's just not better to do larger than 7-man. But I would have assumed all the drops became more rare with that, but it just with higher people, but it does not. So that's definitely interesting. And then the intricate chest also stays the same, but that was already pretty rare regardless. So yeah, it's 1 out of 5,000 for that. So those are the AoD drop rates. In my opinion, more common than I expected, but that is just because I don't have much experience with the boss, I guess, as people seem to already know that these were about what they were expecting in terms of the drop rates. But yeah, now on to the more interesting section with Telos, the Warden, everybody's most wanted drop information, and they did not give us the full info. They gave snips of like certain enrages in their loot, but they only gave one regarding a streak, which was and it was only a 5 streak, so it didn't really give you much in terms of info. But I'll go over it all in general. So sorry about that. I had something caught in my mouth there for a second. My apologies. But yeah. Your current streak and your enrage that you had when you fought Telos has an impact at the chance of looting unique items. So right then and there, oh, I'm not doing the Pest Queen. Right then and there, it says that the streak does affect your unique items. So that is important because a lot of people used to think streak didn't even affect your unique items at all. I was in the opinion that it's best to streak from 0 for uniques. And well, let's just see how they ended up telling us about this. So, you know, and just spoiler alert, I was correct. Anyways, the higher your streak and the higher your enrage, you have a greater chance at getting a unique item. We knew this really, but they actually give you the rates for under 100 enrage, which is pretty interesting. So at sub 100 enrage, you have a 1 in 10 worse chance, or like a 1/10 worse chance of getting unique items. And then once you go under 25 enrage, that further is reduced by a third. So you basically have like no chance of getting, like, I don't think I've ever seen a sub 25 drop, but there is a chance. I didn't even think there was a chance, but there is a chance. It's just very, very, very slim. So let's say you're at 100 enrage and your drop rate is 1 out of 100, which it is not at all. It is definitely more rare than that. But if it was, and then you had that same drop rate, but you were below 100, it would be a 1 out of 1K drop. And if you were further below all the way down to below 25, it would be a 1 in 3K drop. So that's basically the way you should think about it. So yeah, it just lets you know that you're definitely not going to be expecting a drop at below 100, but it is possible. It is definitely a possibility. So don't completely count it out, as well as what they're saying pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I thought it was really cool. Did I not click the earth spells? Hello game. There we go. Now it's probably going to change. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, especially the fact that you can get drops beneath 25. Also, the higher in rage and streak you're on, the greater chance you get better regular loot. Not just a higher quantity, but better quality as well. So you'll have, if you're at a higher streak and higher in rage, you'll have a more likely chance to get onyx bolt tips, uncut onyxes, crystal keys, things like that are more expensive than probably things like energies and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely significant to mention, and definitely glad they put that in. Also, they have Luck of the Dwarves information on here, and it's actually a little different, which I would not have expected. It has a different sort of a drop at Telos here. Or not a drop, a different effect. It actually effectively adds 25 in rage to the loot when you are looting the chest, basically, as far as I understand it. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't count towards tiers, so if you're at 75 in rage and you wear Luck of the Dwarves, it doesn't give you the chance, like it doesn't give you the 10 times increased chance of 100 in rage, but it gives you like the enrage increase rate. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's pretty intuitive. So that's cool. Definitely wear that Luck of the Dwarves when you're looting the chest. And then they go over the big question. Which is better for me to get a unique drop? A higher in rage or a better streak? And this is what they say. And this made me so happy to read, because I've been right this whole time in my thoughts of what is best. They say right here that streak is a much greater modifier than enrage is in the Telos formula. Boom. Right there. That is it. It is confirmed. Streak is a much greater factor in the Telos formula, meaning, and this is also quoted from them, that if you wanted to get unique drops, then the best thing to do is get a higher streak. And in my eyes, in my mind, that means you will want to start from 0 in rage, because you get basically a free 10 streak from the first 10 kills below 100. So yeah, I've been under this impression pretty much the entire time I've been doing Telos, and it's nice to see that I was doing it the right way this whole time. So yeah, just little bit of a confidence booster for me right there. I was pretty happy with that, and I'm definitely going to continue streaking from 0 in the future, because I mean, it's confirmed right here that is the best thing to do. So I am going to be doing that. But yeah, after that they went into a little bit of a breakdown, which is definitely interesting. They gave certain enrages with a certain streak and told you what the drop chance was at that point. So at 100 enrage with a 1 streak, so basically a one-off kill, you have a 1 out of 263 chance of getting a unique drop, and that is pretty bad. So it's definitely not worth it to just camp at 100 enrage and claim, but we pretty much already knew that, but it's just cool to see the exact rate. Then they bump it all the way up to 500 enrage. So if you're doing a 500 enrage on a 1 streak, your drop chance is 1 in 72. So that's actually pretty good. You know, it's definitely a huge increase, and it's only on the one-off streak. And then they move on to this is the only info they gave of something that was actually on a streak. So they say, if you are on a 5 streak at 200 enrage, which I don't know why you would ever be, like you're either starting from 100, so you'll be on like about a 10 streak, or you're starting from 0, so you'll be on about a 15 to 20 streak. But you know, this is what they picked. Your chance of a drop is 1 out of 133. So you can already see that the drop chance from 100 on a 1 streak to 200 on a 5 streak almost doubles. So that is insane. Like, and it's only about 60 less drop chance than 300 more enrage is at 500 on a one-off. So it is clear just based on that streak is a huge factor, and it is very important to get a high streak. Then they also go into 999% one-off, which is something people obviously would wanted to see, because a lot of people already do 99% claims, and that's definitely an interesting point for them. And that is 1 out of 38. So that's actually a pretty good drop chance, but I don't think it's worth camping that still, because A, the regular loot is going to be terrible, So you'll pretty much be losing money on the kills. The kills are going to be generally harder, and also, in my opinion, with the info we have, if you streak from 0 to 500, I'd assume your drop rate is going to be around the same as this, like 1 in 40, 1 in 40-ish. At the 500, and then if you can continue onwards, your drop rate's going to continue going up based on the streak and based on the enrage, and you'll just be able to stock up drops, especially if you're willing to risk drops and have your streak continue on, which I think is something a lot of people aren't willing to do, but it is definitely something you should consider, especially once you end up getting a few, if you get like an orb set or two under your belt and you're more confident with the boss and you have the ability to, not worry too much about losing all that money if you end up dying. I think that's definitely something that people need to consider when they're looking at these rates, is like, I could risk the drop. Like, it's not, you don't have to claim when you get the drop. So that's definitely important to think about in this scenario. But yeah, it's clearly something you'd have to decide for yourself. Like, if you're afraid that you can't streak for whatever reason, but you can do 99% claim, then by all means do it. It's not that bad. It really isn't. But if you like, the way I see it is, if you can do 999 claim, then you should be able to streak pretty consistently. Like, as long as you can do the 999 claims consistently, which is also important, because if you're only getting like one in every you're dying 1 in every 4 kills or dying 1 in every 3 kills, that's a missed kill, so that's just time wasted, and then also it's money lost from dying, of course. So if you can do the 999 claims consistently, then it seems to me that it would be better to streak regardless. But if you can't do them consistently, then it's still better to streak, because you won't be able to get the consistent 999s. So that's just the way I see it. That's my opinion. That's my view on it. Obviously, I'm not the end-all be-all what you should do at Telos, but I'm still going to streak from 0 regardless, because that is just my opinion. And then they also included 1024 enrage, which is only 1 higher at 1 in a 37 drop chance. So it is obviously not worth to go above 1000 if you're camping for loot, because obviously the drop chance is going to plateau off. Like, it's going to have diminishing returns the higher it gets. So yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah. Anyways, there was a little bit of extra information they also added in, which I think should have been in there at the start. I don't know why they wouldn't have included this, but those were the chances of getting any unique drop. It's basically, those are the chances that I just said of hitting the unique table. Once you hit the unique table, these are the chances you have of getting each individual drop. There is a 75 out of 115 chance to get an orb, so it is definitely way more common to get an orb than anything else. 75 versus 40 out of 115 chance, and then all the other drops are 10 out of 115 each. So Dormant Saren Godbow, 10 out of 115, Staff of Sliske, Zero's Godsword, and Reprisal Codex, all 10 out of 15, or 10 out of 115. So that's pretty much what we assumed, I believe. Most people thought that the Dormants and Reprisal were all the same drop rate, and then the orbs were way more. Although it's a bit of a surprise to me that orbs are not 3 times more common than Dormants, because that would just go to assume that, you get 3 orbs and you get 1 Dormant in terms of like the average drop chance. But still, interesting for sure. And then next week they're doing Rax, Rots, and KK, so it's going to be pretty cool next week to see as well. But yeah, that's basically it, you guys. There's a bunch of people that are trying to speculate and do like crazy math BS in the comments of the Reddit, but I'm not going to go into that, because I'm only going to trust what Jagex put out specifically, and they said it is best to streak if you want unique drops. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to be doing Telos, and let me know what you guys think about these in the comments, and yeah, peace.